Hi everyone. How are you? Buenas noches. ¿Cómo están? Bien. Thank you so much for being with us. My name is Ivan. I'm the programs manager here at Beyond Baroque. We are currently in the Wanda Coleman Theater. For those of you, yeah, for those of you who may be unfamiliar with Wanda Coleman, great poet laureate, actually the OG poet laureate of Los Angeles, forever poet laureate of Los Angeles. You can find her books in our bookstore. Um, if you're a bit more familiar with Beyond Baroque, we are a nonprofit literary arts organization established since 1968 by George Drury Smith. It first began as an experimental literary magazine and evolved into the interdisciplinary art space we know today. First had a bookstore in Abbot Kinney Boulevard in 1968 when it opened, lasted there for about 10 years, and then it moved here to the original Venice City Hall building. So poets have been running this place since 1978 or so. I'd like to acknowledge our presence on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Tongva peoples. Venice is the original home of the Wanka and Sangha Tongva villages. We stand in solidarity with indigenous peoples affected by colonial forces and are committed to uplifting their stories and cultures. A few announcements. We are celebrating Black History Month at Beyond Baroque, and it's going to be like this month, the rest of the year. And you could find our slate of events coming up to celebrate Black History Month, love, the rest of the year. Winter, storms are coming, so let's also see the bright side of that. Let's be thankful it didn't happen tonight. And we get to hear poetry and share space with each other. So just tomorrow night, we'll have a jazz night with Dwight Tribble, co-founder of the World Stage. That will be presented by the Non-Ensemble Collective. Next week, we'll be hosting a special tribute with American poet Dorothy Baresi, and you can come see the Texas State Poet Laureate Irene Lara Silva celebrating her new collection, The Eaters of Flowers. I think, did you read with her, Bridget?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
For Holly the Signs book release.
Awesome, yeah. And it went
Amazing.
great, I'm sure.
Don't miss it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and we'll be closing out the month with Jose Hernandez Diaz's book launch of his second collection, and you can check out the Black Radiance Mini Arts Festival and Poetry reading in collaboration with Skew Magazine, highlighting a lot of poets, visual artists, and storytellers in their magazine called Skew, and it's themed under Black embodiment. So please come back to the space. Would love to see you all again. This is all possible thanks to your support, and we've been here for about 55 years. So you can keep supporting the space, keep having a home for artists in the West Side and all of LA. If you want to become a member, you can talk to Genesis, our bookstore assistant, at the front desk right across the hall. And you can also support the artists tonight. We have books of Bridget Bianca, we have books of Lucas Rivera. We're waiting for Maestro's book. And there's, ya viene algo, Yeah. All right, so let's hear some poetry. Tonight, first, opening the stage will be dear friend, known him now for a year, and it's so good to be collaborating with him, to welcome him to the stage. I know he's been here before. Don't think you've performed here, so it's a huge honor. So just so you know a little bit about each poet, we'll just read a short bio of them. Maestro Gamin began developing his poetry sometime in 2009 after attending Vibrations Writers Group. He soon began attending open mics across the southern Los Angeles and downtown areas, such as Los Souls Cafe, the Monday Speakeasy, World Stage, DPL, Natural High, Our Mic, and Freedom of Speech Thursdays. Please welcome Maestro.
Oh, happy Black History Month, everybody.
Yes.
First, I'd like to thank Beyond Baroque for having me here, and especially my little brother Ivan for inviting me to be a part of this reading and celebration during this month, and also el estreno de nuestro hermano, there he is, Lucas Rivera, con su libro, and this is very special, so just thank you very much. I'll jump right into it because I know I got 10 minutes. I'm gonna take every minute, if that's cool. I timed it out, so there we go. I'm too tired to lie down. I'm tired how murder follows us, how we're an all too accessible play area for anger's Russian roulette merry-go-round, and how this patronizing cautionary life of smiles and apathy for our death waits freer than we ever were, sweeping us vagrantly in riptides, complacency in a glass of tap water poison and Flint, from slave patrol city minders too scared to be outspoken, too sour to let peace slip toward our space, too eager to kill their way into a co-opted white saviorhood. The sum of me, after I regather what's left, never amounts enough to save any love I have in me for us. So I plant more with a hope substitute. It's either that or I go into debt trying not to drown in this rising tide deluge, constructing rafts with half my body under the moon's embrace, whole world assuming I belong to the sea, praising some Jesus supposedly never getting his feet wet. I guess they'd love me more if he was here watching them, instead of them just believing he was. But then they'd still have to believe themselves while they were doing it. Thank you. This one's a little lengthy. Stay with me a little bit. Stay with me a little while. Well, the car dropped me off, and the ride was a good 30 minutes from Northeast LA to Northwest Valley, and the driver and I spoke in Spanish. He told me of 26 years living in the neighborhood, how it was safe, or safer than I had heard, and how he talked about his kids in college, New York, and I forget the other, about a brother who always looked for trouble, and he ended the story by saying, you know, you always find what you're looking for, and that problems on purpose isn't for adults. Also, everyone deserves to enjoy what's around them, sin broncas. And we found the street crammed narrow with cars. I thanked him, and we walked across the asphalt through the music and the sun, up to the high steel black gate where my friend caught my eye. Children ran and played impossibly between stoic, composed, and unsure faces, a gathered decorum of heavy legs and stern silence. And it was too early. The music nor the drink had had a chance to take effect yet. And I walked to 2 small seats. I recognized the woman, soon to be mother of my friend's child. June would be here soon enough. I was introduced to an older brother and a father, cowboy hat smartly on the head, clear liquid in his plastic cup. The brother did not talk, but he was there. And on his side, there were 2 women who seemed to communicate silently. Everything was going on between the 2 of them, old family business. I felt grudge and blessings equally with those ladies. They stared out over the families like old war, narrow eyes that could either love or kill a man, woman, or child, summing up the end result of several 9-month bearings, maybe sacrifices from youth, and they sat comfortable with rusted but unconquered majesty. They didn't say a word while I talked to the father. In Spanish, he told me, "You remind me of an old friend. He weighed 300 pounds. He's dead now. Here, have you tried this? It's añejo." And I told him I brought an añejo as well. Este será dura. And he passed me his cup, and there was some strong, clear liquid in there. And I thought for half a second about pandemics and statistics and vaccines, and then brought the cup to my mouth and pretended to sip it. Some liquid made it over the tongue, and I nodded and felt like what might have been some sort of communion had just taken place. The patio was white concrete under the sun. The mariachis wore black and gold trim. A big warm voice swayed around everything as the violins and horns foisted it up like a throne. Paper plates and small tacos with meat and cilantro and onion, cold beer to wash it down, and there were women, small in the waist and large in the rear, that walked around like miracles in bright yellow and white and blues. High heels, poetry and elegance. My friend appeared. He made quick introductions while everyone watched me try to open the bottle I had brought, and I was clumsy and strange. Finally, unwrapped the plastic seal, and I offered to pour one for my friend, overstepping my confidence with how comfortable I wasn't. Finally getting $8 worth of tequila in a cup and clutching it like a magic trick out of my own head. A sign of hope, finally. Zacatecas, mi hija, lo más grande de todo. ¿Y qué vas a cantar? Siempre yo le respondía con esa yo no conozco, confundido de lo que me decía fueran títulos de canciones o referencias de algo más que a mí todavía no me parecía nada de familiar. Me siento todo lo pocho que soy y lo más gabacho que yo era de antes. El padre de la novia seguía hablándome de respeto y cómo no le importaba por nada de donde alguien fuera, más que si la persona le hable con respeto, que él era lo más chaparro de sus hermanos que eran grandotes. Incluso me mostró una foto de él en su juventud y señaló con orgullo a la doña sentada, todavía callada y vigilando todo detrás de ojos de cuchillos ardientes. Night showed up and we weren't looking, and people gave short speeches, tributes, salutes, more drink, dancing. The mariachis left and the cumbia started up. Uncles suddenly turned into music. A future bridegroom danced like he was praying, with hands holding hips, cheeks, and lips. A friend danced for the first time, father with his baby bouncing along, feeling their life getting more interesting by the moment. And I pushed through warm home, kitchen linoleums toward toilet, zipped, washed white hands through hair, rejoined. And inside I found Don Jorge, seated in the soft recliner, remembering a younger he. Don Cumpleañero won that day. He won, and he knew it. Surrounded by everything a man could want, grandchildren, music, love, and legacy. A heavy cake shaped like a guitarra sat waiting on the table next to him, and he looked up at me, and I knelt beside him, and I spoke with respect about his family and thank yous, proud, and amazingly, his eyes beamed a beautiful type of exhausted, and he smiled, holding my hand. Tonight, old ghosts, long gone, danced in the street. They drank along with us and laughed until they felt present again. And I wonder if they cry like I do. Thank you. I'm gonna bring it home. You're only mad because you stole it and you still couldn't make it yours. It ain't that hard to figure out now, all this time and death on our back. Like a lesson that stays in the blood, can't separate itself from skin. Now my kids' grandsons feel some 400-year-old side-eye watching death fan itself in the shade. Who ever heard of slave owners killing natives for rights to be free to kill more natives? Dissonance responds like some shameful condensation hypocrisy. Free men may one day save themselves based on the words from whispered field lips of chained man parts praying devil-image spirits to live freer in the next life. But more money in the cotton sack, blessed folks in only one direction, and a whole group pulling out their own tongues, rearing mute children, stay living. Now that may be enough to think something else had our back besides Satan, and the dead dance knowing that walking on water is an old damn lie. My great grand auntie still make the wind blow over me on a hot day, and you wouldn't even let me in the church, but let the church set up shop. Use God as a whole excuse to dress Satan up for the board meeting, dealing death for corporation afterlife, institution, suit and tie. The bullshit still going on, burping up treaties and the old bones you couldn't swallow, and all the buffalo you ate today, and a starve campaign embargo. America yelling at me ugly when I even think about feeling comfortable enough to walk in the house wearing all my joy, let alone hold conversation with the demon was that put it there, while speaking in my outside voice, by myself, afraid someone might hear me. Tarnished boots, sprout colony banners reminding me blood in the dirt don't make it mine. No sir, I can tell by the way they stand on the ground which side the grass is allowed to grow on, even if I'm pushing up daisies. claiming the high ground, knowing whether he do or don't, I'm going to take 2 steps to nowhere, right where they need me, begging to make every truth their jurisdiction, every death of mine their own private war to liberate, for their own struggle to seek a sacred sometime, for their hate to mean the same thing as pride again, for the babies they fed the currents of dinosaurs to mean poverty, for the men sitting for lifetimes to mean rehabilitation, for the next one killed before even getting started to be cautionary. See, I know that the monster projects what scares them and then kills everything to keep them from knowing that they're the monster. I promise to love y'all more than your mistakes and still say wrong ain't something else. I know that everything you feel, they try so hard to be comfortable enough like it fell out their mouth first. Know that every time we celebrated life, they joined in while life was taken from us. Know that even right now, there are whole missions to not remember and even more missions to forgive. And yet still, anger still, spring weeds in season every Juneteenth like fresh lawns, cigar mouth rig mandarin for their friend Jerry, chicken in every pot, talking about the good old days. That's how come I know you'll never be the ones to save me. Because to do that, you got to save you from yourself. And that ain't country, social club, money class, value steward making, hypocritical, political base, hierarchical, or rancid enough to foment fear and spread like sport tip anger virus. In a garden of wet paint, self-appointed rosebush, Karen crabgrass, you'll never be the ones to cry my life like a broken promise to every auntie I ever had. Thank you. Thank you very much, Beyond Baroque. You're beautiful. I love you.
One more time for Maestro, por favor. Nice. Wow, man. Thank you so much. All right. Our next poet, it's going to be even hotter. Bridgette Bianca is a poet and professor from South Central Los Angeles. Her first book of poetry, Be Trouble, was released by Writ Large in 2020. When she's not reading her work, she hosts workshops on other events around the city. Recently, she joined forces with poet, artist, and activist Gustavo Guerra Vasquez to form the literary curating team South Central Spitfire. Please welcome Bridgette Bianca.
Oh, Lord, y'all. I said, you heard me, my page is flipping. I said, let me pick it up. Hold on now. Okay, y'all, listen, give it up one more time. Give it up one more time, please. Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, let's see what I can do. Let's see, child. So happy Black History Month, everybody. I've been treating it like it's Happy New Year because that's how I feel. The year just began. January, it was there, okay? But we're in February now. So let's talk about being Black. You ready? This poem is called That Good Black Don't Crack. This is a big, black, greasy poem full of fat back and collard greens and salt pork and red beans and a tablespoon of bacon grease mixed into the cornbread batter. Smells like catfish on Good Friday and brown sugar glazed ham on Easter Sunday. Listen closely and you'll hear the sound a hot comb makes as it passes through hair before church and on picture days. This poem feels like blue magic hair grease on your scalp, royal crown pomade smooth over with grandma's hands. This poem smells like Johnson & Johnson on baby feet, pink hair lotion and Just For Me or PCJ relaxer, singed and sweet, slick and shine like an S-curl on the first day of school. Stiff like sleeping propped up so you don't smash your curls. This poem looks like a toothbrush caked with brown gel for your baby hair. Fresh like synthetic braids dipped in boiling hot water and baby oil, soft and a little crooked like bangs set on pink foam rollers or strips of brown paper bags. This poem tastes like thick-cut fries coated in seasoning salt in a paper bag from Tam's or Tom's or Mellow Burger or Brolly Hut or Burger Palace number 1 or 3. This poem smiles at you while you chewing and says, "It's good, ain't it? I know what my baby like." This is a big, black, loud poem full of fuck yous and I don't take no shit from nobody's and I shall not be moved. In this little light of mine, this poem sounds like mumbling through the end of the third verse of Lift Every Voice and Sing, and a little less singing, and a little more swinging, and foot stomping, and hand clapping, and a little ass shaking too. This poem sounds like the whisper of so many plastic bags stuffed into one plastic bag. Like the way Big Mama whispers, who cleaned these greens, without her hearing aids, so she really just loud as hell. This poem sounds like the clack and swish of barrettes and beads and ballies on the ends of plaits while double dutching with plastic jump ropes on blacktop. You gotta shush this poem like it's talking back to the screen at Magic Johnson's theater. This poem is full of warnings before shopping, like when we get in the store, don't ask for nothing, don't touch nothing. You hear me? This poem is full of, nigga, I wish you would. And a reminder that no, white people, you can't say nigga. Why? Because your tongue forms a noose when you say it, and there are better ways to die, white people. As a matter of fact, this is a big, black, righteous poem full of MLK portraits on church fans. And again, beneath pictures of brown-skinned, silky-haired Jesus. Above Malcolm in a suit and tie, unsmiling with a finger at his temple. And Baroque in a suit and tie, smiling and looking like a new penny. This poem looks like your father in a suit and tie, painting over fresh graffiti on your garage door before he takes you to school every morning. Because he works too hard in that suit and tie for some little thugs that they own his house. This poem sounds like reimagined fairy tales where Goldilocks has locks, and Rapunzel has cornrows, and Anansi can whoop Aesop's ass in just one round of the dozens, and your mama's so black. Your mama's so black, she won't buy you white dolls, even if they have more accessories. She so black when people gift you white dolls, she keeps them on a high shelf until you forget about them, and then she takes them to the Goodwill. This is a big, black, sweaty poem full of bus rides down south, or better yet, car rides, when the air conditioner stops working halfway through Texas. It sounds like everybody holding that note while listening to Frankie Beverly and Maze, you know the one. It sounds like Kool and the Gang's Summer Madness, tastes like Kool-Aid frozen in a foam cup, tastes like my favorite flavor, red. And aunties laughing on the front porch, little cousins screaming through sprinklers on Sunday afternoons, looks like an uncle's special twist on the electric slide that has him icing his knee before the day is over. This poem feels like the way the other dominoes on the table tremble when somebody yells, "Give me 15," while slapping bones. Feels like being pulled close in somebody's basement and slow dragging to songs older than you, like you think you grown. Whispering and giggling into the phone, hot against your ears so your family don't hear, like you think you grown. Smells like all day over a barbecue pit, making sure to flip the chicken so it won't stick to the grill like your shirt sticks to your back, like thighs and short shorts and skirts on leather seats while you cruise the boulevard, like you think you grown. Slathered in coconut oil and shea butter, smothered in Vaseline and cocoa butter, this poem, that good black, that don't crack, and don't you forget it. Yeah. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna read two more, and then I'll be out of the way, okay, to make way, okay, for the man, the myth, the legend to get up here and share a bit. This one also for Black History Month, which is every day for me, okay? It's called Was It Good For You? Like blood on dry ground. But the world stopped when our eyes met. He moved slowly, uncertain of my intentions, but I kept my pace, my heart racing. His shirt read, "The South shall rise again." The words framing a faded Confederate flag across his chest. If the South rose again, it would be brown fingers pushing up through the soil, brown legs jumping down from poplar branches, brown arms lifting themselves out of swamps, brown eyes staring out from tar slick patches, brown bodies reforming from the ashes. If the South rose again, It would be my ancestors returning to slit your throat. The Cane River would jump its banks. The levees would not hold from the rush of your blood, and my children would splash and play in it with smiles on their brown faces. If the South rose again. Thank you. All right. Some heroes wear their do-rags with the capes flapping. Anybody here wear a do-rag? Worn a do-rag in your life? Okay, you know what's going on. This is how Black people have survived, part one. The colonizers' greatest mistake was underestimating our power. All they needed to see was the talented attempt to know that we were too dangerous to be left unregulated, unfiltered, unconquered, and so they did, or so they thought. But we still here. Still David and his sling. Still Harriet and her rifle. Still John Henry with the hammer. Still Jesse Owens whooping a Nazi's ass. Still Ali whooping Uncle Sam's ass. Still Michael Jackson on the moon. Still Katherine Johnson with the math. Still Michael Jordan with the rock. Still Dr. King taking a knee. Still Kaepernick taking a knee. Still Rosa Parks taking a seat. Still Mahalia raining down heaven. Still Richard Pryor raising hell. Still Fred Hampton with the bullhorn. Still Octavia with the pen. Still Malcolm X headed to Mecca. Still Chadwick at the Mecca. Still Ta-Nehisi at the Mecca. Still Morrison at the Mecca. Still Zora when she's laughing and Zora when she's looking mean and impressive. Still Barack Obama on the Capitol steps. Still Audre Lorde reminding us that she is not free while any woman is unfree even if her shackles look like Cuban links. Still Asada in exile. Still Langston in Paris. Still Baldwin in Paris. Still Josephine in Paris. The time for running has come to an end. Stokely Carmichael said, tell them all the scared niggas are dead. We still T'Challa to the bullshit. We still Jesus on the third day. Surprise, as you can see, we are not dead. This is how Black people have survived, part two. The colonizers' greatest mistake was underestimating our resilience. We've been minding our own business and mining something stronger than vibranium, reaping and sowing something better than King Cotton. We've been digging for something blacker and slicker than oil was understood, don't need to be explained. Put some respect in our name. We are Wakanda. We ain't never been conquered. We been Wakanda. Death is better than bondage, but you can't chain us no matter how hard you try. You can't kill us all, and you can't beat this Black off us, and you can't shoot this Black off us, and your walls ain't high enough to keep us out, and your jails ain't tight enough to keep us in. February ain't long enough to get us right. We be Wakanda. Just because we be magic don't mean we don't be real. This ain't no superpower. This is Black power, and all power to the people. Thank you.
One more time for Bridgette, Bianca. That was awesome. A perfect segue for a feature poet. Just want to give a huge shout out to Lucas and Heidi as well for helping us put this program together. And we'd love to see you all back again. All right. So our next and final poet of the evening is Lucas Rivera. Multidisciplinary Afro-Puerto Rican artist and educator who expresses his culture through various mediums. His work is an autobiography captured through music, dance, paint, and poetry. He is a Philadelphia native who built his professional arts career performing and exhibiting in his Latino community for more than 16 years. During his tenure as executive director of Artists and Musicians of Latin America, he produced some of the largest salsa festivals in Philadelphia and helped develop the next generation of Latin jazz artists in that community. Rivera made a name for himself in LA as the visionary behind Grant Park, a new Los Angeles County park in downtown, operated by the Music Center. As the former vice president, his vision for park programming was grounded in placemaking through arts engagement and artist development, focusing on local community artists. Please welcome Lucas Rivera.
Give it up one more time for these amazing poets, please. I'm gonna go over here first. Hey DJ, drop that beat. Can I get some more volume with that? Heart beats like a drum, a rhythm that rises like the sun, a percussive sound first found in the womb of mama, in the womb of mama. Calling, a calling by our ancestors, a calling through rumba that awakens the cells, reminding you of blackness, mistaken by others of less than. This rhythm is a foundation of all that came before and all who will come after. Sin clave no hay rumba, sin clave no hay rumba, sin clave no hay rumba. Can you hear it? Will not be ignored. It cannot be sampled. This is the DNA of our soul. The first note we played when we engaged with Mother Earth. The first. You feel the drum pulsating inside our soul, running through the sangre in our veins. Let's create space and engage, navigating the dance floor with open heart, mind clear, heart out in full embrace, responding to the musicality and the richness of our cultura, the roots of our identidad, the sound we all sang when they took us from our land, when they took us from our land. Now we are here, unidad, cultura, one circle, one sphere. We're writing a new sound, clave and house kicks so no one sits down. This is our sound, bound and renowned. Sin clave no hay rumba, 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 sin clave no hay rumba. All right. You know, I try to give you something from my album. That's last. Yeah. Little preview of what's coming at the end. Gave you something from the album just to, you know, start us off. And couldn't have my band out here, but we're open for bromistvas and sweet 16s, weddings. I'm just, you know, that was a little promo. So just hit up Heidi, raise your hand. Just hit up Miss Heidi Aponte right there. We rocked at the South Bronx. Let me stop tripping. The South Bronx was home to my electric boogie. Head spins and footwork was my newfound idiom. And weekends at the Courtyard made Carnegie Hall concerts feel like opening acts. And my hat was always turned to the side, profiling the fresh stripes on my shell tops. We rocked at the height of hip-hop, beats laced with conga slaps, el clave, the foundation of our Latin sound, bridging the black-brown gap. Boricua, morena, that was my barrio soundtrack. And at every block party, you can hear mama throwing down on mi viejo San Juan. Sounds of salsa reverberating off apartment buildings set off the soundtrack to our lullabies. Those were the days. On Sundays, you would catch us smacking on penny candy from the corner bodega. The owner Luz would give us cash for the empty beer cans we collected from the old heads who partied the night before. clapping hands, beating drums, and freestyling songs. And on Monday, we couldn't wait for the week to end. Tony, Carlito, JJ, and I would do it again, bragging about being on the Rocksteady crew, but no one knew that what bonded us was the sound of the Bronx. That rumba turned salsa remixed into hip-hop, true birthplace of the head bop. Music that lifted our people up, standing united in mi barrio, the South Bronx, the South Bronx. From young lords to Black Panthers, I wish you could have been there back then. I wish you could have been there back when hip-hop, bebop, and salsa were all friends. Thank you. I was born in Puerto Rico, and every time I go back, I left when I was 5, but every time I go back, there's something about that place that feels like home, and nothing else outside of it does it, right? So I pretended to have a friend that I wrote a letter to. Motherland Reunification, Part 3, second letter to Beltito. Dear Beltito, it was everything I dreamed of and more. The weather was perfect. A familiar breeze brushed through my locks. You're home, it whispered. The sound of the coquis at night guided me towards nightly bliss. Their love songs kissed my eardrums, vibrating the most beautiful melodies. La Isla's lullaby, my titi reminds me. The mornings brought back familiar scents, el café colado roasting on iron pots, the sweet bread toasting on the press, memories of una isla you would never forget. I step outside and el barrio dice, presente. Oh yeah, when did you arrive? As if I was only gone for a few days, they greet. Smiles and hugs from mi gente who I left behind. But today I'm here, Borinquen, in your embrace. Beltito, I wish you could see her. I'm sure she'll remember your face. You can't deny the connection, hermano. Your familia has left their blood here, their struggle, their triumph, our gente. And in la isla dicen, presente. Every breath brings me closer to her. I am complete here, as if everything I have gone through was washed away, and the only thing that lingered was love. It will be hard to leave again, to imagine myself anywhere else, leaving behind parts of myself. Abuelita has my sweet coco. She just made behind the sunrise. When La Isla exhales, spreading the many scents of our cultura across the valleys and mountains and cities, Abuelita hugs me, and I melt in her arms, catching a sniff of the coco that got in her hair. She squeezed and squeezed. I felt free. A spirit lifted the triggers of a past life. I wish I never left you. You never left, Abuelita replied. I held you in my heart desde que te fuiste, papito. And it was at that moment that I realized, no matter how far, how much time goes by, my beating heart reminds me why. Yo te quiero, Puerto Rico. So that was I have a book. I wrote a book. It's my first book. So it's broken up into 4 sections: Identidad, Struggle, Love, and Faith. So those pieces were from the Identidad section. We're gonna go into the struggle, and it's broken down in that from those parts in that order for a reason. In the dark. I feel like I spent my adolescent years alone trying to figure out life, a life forced upon me, overflowing with anger, regret, denial, a life that drives most men towards addiction. Mama would tell me, he's still your dad no matter what. And I hated him for not being around. At the same time, cried at night, missing him dearly. Wishing he could stop it all and return home, hoping he could remember a love once held, desiring every minute of a day spent with him, catching a bar, drinking soda pop with Papa. Yet here I am in the dark, trying to stop myself from feeling, loaded with a black hole of emotion, an endless pit I continue to fill each day he's not here. Waiting for the day I can empty it all, then fill it up once again. Was it all worth? I never even had a real relationship with him. The abuser, the drug addict, the biological, never-present man, my papa, my dad. Absent to those days that mama alone filled the void, wishing he could leave it all and return home, imagining that we can pick up where we first felt a papa's love for his firstborn that was felt. Yet I am here in the dark, filling my heart with false hope, desiring days of tight hugs, bedtime stories, walks to the park, wishing, hoping, longing, desperately waiting. I'll fix him, you see. Rehab after rehab, hoping, waiting, desperately waiting. I couldn't fix him, you see. Was it me? An endless loop of what-ifs running through my mind, blinded by the reality that war never returned, Papa. And Papa never fought back once to come back. Was it me? I spent years of my adolescent life playing it over and over and over, exhausting every possible equation, finding myself back at the beginning, the same outcome. In the dark, searching for the light in this life that was forced upon me. I tried everything. I saw nothing, found nothing, and in the process got lost in emptiness. Beating on the door of adolescent misbehavior, adopting the street life as my newfound savior, running towards the stereotypes of a fatherless child, waiting for the day I could empty it all, then fill it up once again. Thank you. This piece is called The Calling. Hate called again, and although every thought in my soul wanted to let it go to voicemail, my anger, my flaws, my lower nature picked up. It's me, hate. I know. Did you hear the verdict? Yes. I hate this America. I hate this so-called land of the free. I hate when people can't see me. I hate the way American justice incarcerates me, kills me. I hate that I have to feel hate, exhale hate, reflect hate, give you life, time. I hate when you call and remind me of these things. I hate remembering, feeling like we just changed owners, still chained to the American dream, chanting in the fields of false hope. I hate thinking about hate. My blood rises, stress levels push me to the brink of panic. Hold on, love is calling. It's love. I know. Then do you know you are beautiful? A strong, passionate, loving soul, a sweet melody on nights of cold, a love patiently building, crafting homes of love, engineering foundations of solid love. You are the sweet sound of kissing fish. You are uniquely you, a fluorescent brilliance that can only exist in the deepest of sea. Only you can exist in the most desolate of spaces. You are tomorrow and the next day gone infinite. You are love. But hate is waiting. I can't keep hate waiting. Then reflect with me. Let your bright light, your light of love, illuminate the shadows of hate's existence, causing it to dissipate, vanishing in your love's glow. For you are me, and I will forever be you. Hate has no home here. Thank you. So I grew up in the amazing streets of North Philadelphia, in the ghetto. This piece is called Lost Boys in the Hood. Boys in the hood dream, but still find it hard to shake off their frown. Mothers pray that their boys come home when the sun goes down. Ball courts transform from hangouts to war zones, and young boys yelling, "Get down." The echoes of gunshots turn into tears and shouting from the mothers of the black and brown. T-shirts are printed, memorializing those boys who were just hanging around. Another data point for the gun, while American politics continue to compound. Palm trees sway in the wind, and sometimes you can hear them out loud. But when palm fronds break and fall, they always remain above ground. Thank you. Then I got pissed off and did this. My check didn't bounce, I did. They told me that I'm too casual, that I can't present in intellectual spaces, that I can't demand the attention of the elite, that I will not have anything worth saying, that I don't belong in this circle of society, that I can't influence the influencers, that I cannot, will not, be not without their blessing, without their acknowledgement, without their connections, without their ruling, without their acceptance, without their invitation. I shall not speak, I shall not present, I shall not offer an opinion, I shall not be. So I turned the other way and walked. I will not bow to a system that doesn't honor me, hold space for me, see me, accept me, vouch for me, believe in me, bless me, set me free. I will not beg to enter where I'm not seen. I will not let their expensive suits and Prada glasses intimidate me. I will not come off my throne to entertain their pettiness. I will not be a part of the old boys club. I will not be a part of it, I say. I will not come back, nor I will be upset or cry or regret or try again or give in or show a speck of care towards their process, their ignorance, their disunity, their arrogance, their belief, their poor excuse for social change. They will see me not. Punto. The many shades of my ghetto. At the corner bodega, a 2-inch thick clear plexiglass separates us from our humanity. The reflections on that 10-foot wall memorializes the people just wanting to survive. But you think otherwise, profiling us one transaction at a time, but you and I are one and the same. The shade of our skin announces our origin, beaten by the decades of trying to reclaim the space our ancestors bled to build. Soon after I walk in, your stare frames me at a loss. You make no real connection. I can only see 30 different views of my innocence captured on the screens of your safety blanket. This America has turned my skin into a suspect. Before dialects can begin to offer a small glance into my beauty, you can't even look me in the eye. We never touch, but I can feel your heart rate increasing as I approach the counter. We have never met, but I can hear your memory storage sifting through profiles of who I may be to you. You stand as I get closer, wondering if I will be that guy or just by. I can now feel the weight of your fear, turning my sneakers into steel plates that can never lift off the ground. Now here we are, you behind a fort that distorts the view of one another's eyes at hello, and I relentlessly trying to face a smile that comforts you. Maybe today can be the day you see me, the child of a ghetto looking for his purpose, the father of a ghetto hoping his child returns, the brother of a ghetto watching over his siblings, the servant of a ghetto rebuilding the ghetto's perception, a man from a ghetto that shaped his integrity. Thank you. Now we get to love. I always embarrass my wife with this piece because it's a piece about how we met. It's called Ruby with an I. I met her at a bookstore. Not just any bookstore, the Boricua bookstore, Taller Puertorriqueño, our bookstore, a AfroRican's library of cultura, colores y música, poetry and novelas. That's where I met her, at the corner of the Golden Block, El Bloque de Oro. She walked in and Mark Anthony started playing in my ear. Yeah, I can build your garden so we can lay on it all day and we could vivir lo nuestro. Woo-wee. She was so fly. She was so fly, ripped jeans that flared over her docks, peasant top rocking the Frida look. I'm hooked. Yo, chill. She's approaching the counter. So I act like I really didn't notice her, but she knew I was all up in her style, counting the stitches on her hand-stitched shirt, peeping her curls and dark skin tone. In my head, I even blew her a kiss. Then the convo started like this. Excuse me, you work here? I would like to get information on how to volunteer. Yeah, sure, I got you. You see, the lady that handles that is not here. Why don't you give me your digits and I'll make sure we connect. I'll connect you with her. I got you. By the way, my name is Lucas, and yours? My name is Ruby with an I. I felt as if I was 12 and couldn't really understand what was happening to me. Couldn't tell her that we had to meet again, that I would do anything to see her again, that she was nothing I ever had the pleasure of to be in the same room with. Yeah, she was beautiful, but there was something else, a blessing sent down from the heavens, adorned with the purity of service and kindness. She was a ruby. An ancient gem polished to perfection, a reflection of all that is not of this world, standing right in front of me. My eyes couldn't stop staring, and as she walked away, my eyes escorted her every strut, wrapped in her presence, for she was whom God sent. That's my boo. Mama's love songs. Mama sang boleros, love songs for lovers off sync, searching to find their way back. Boleros of verbs, nouns, and adjectives that harmonize. Mama sang love songs, sweet melodies of an ancient time when love inhaled endless breaths, bonding souls for infinite days. These are the love songs of lost lovers, navigating them back to each other's hearts, a melodic map. True love can only decipher, a cipher composed for and by love. Mama sang songs of love, love songs depicting our pain, tribulations of a journey back home, boleros bending times towards better days. Mama, love songs reimagined our days, Days of pain turn to love, tattoos of love all over our souls, scars absorbed by our beating hearts. Mama sang boleros, love songs for all, but none for her. Alone with no true love, she raised us all with boleros of love. That was my sweet mommy who raised 5 boys by herself. Amazing, amazing woman. Love letter to my firstborn, Lucas Rivera III. I brought you to mind and heart during my loneliest night. It was that day I realized that Papa could never rise to be my father. So I thought of you, even before I was old enough to drive, old enough to find true love, old enough to love and wed, young and depleted from unrelenting desire to mine a father's heart, my father's love, time, presence. I thought of you. You came to me that night, and I held your hand as you took your first steps, spoke your first words, hit your first ball, did your first all. I thought of you then, calculating every second I will be spending with you, loving you, holding you, guiding you. Today, you begin to make decisions on your own, exerting freedom like a hummingbird, navigating the wind, calculating its hovering over the nectar of its sustenance. You will take this journey alone, not as the third, but as the first. Your light will shine, and your village will be illumined. Thank you. Thank you. I pray a lot, and I pray a lot because this world is just fucked up. Excuse my French. And the last section of this book is dedicated to faith. Sipping Black Beauty. Just put that sticker right on top of the words. I had you on a cold Friday night. My shoulders sore from a long day of carrying my skin. I closed my eyes, began with a healing prayer. I was greeted by your black beauty, elated by your scent, ancient and wild. 1,000 years of cultivated aromatic exquisiteness, which only springtime can make manifest. The astringency of your body caresses the inside of my mouth, a tea of 1,000 years. Your properties bring me healing, like prayers recited by tribes when we were one land, one people. I close my eyes again and begin to sip you. My lips feel you first. Greeted by the warmth of your tenderness, I'm reminded why dynasties went to war for you. Protecting the deep roots you dug into sacred land. Not one man alone can conquer the richness of your existence. Yet here we are, still at war by the root cause of the color of your skin, my skin, our skin. You brought me ease, unapologetically black and sweet. You brought me ease, as if you felt my bones crying out for your healing. My pain simmers, the taste of you after a long day, the days only our skin can remember, since the rest of us are still trying to get up and stand. March, unite. You brought me ease and reminded me of the root cause of it all, and reminded me how we turn to the purity of your black beauty again and again for healing. Thank you. And then the last piece of my book is a bookend to the first piece called In the Beginning. This piece is called At the End I Begin. At the end, at least the end of my first beginning, a life of struggle, drugs, violence, loneliness, abuse, hate, hardship, loss, love, and awakening. I end and begin again. A rebirth of a man eager to serve humanity with love, exalted, exhausted by a past journey of trials, overwhelmed by the counts of RIP airbrush t-shirts I sported, and on the back shouting out, Calito, Domingo, Green Eyes, Kiki, Tito, Joey, Flaco, Papo, and if this poem was about spitting the names of homies I lost on the way, I will still be pushing through countless commas. But instead, I'll spend this new beginning at the day where I begin again, without regret and my heart never forgetting where I came from. I begin again. A life engineered by the remembrance of eras in my trials. My heart still beats in syncopation with those moments, but I run no more. Finding blissful days in my own skin, with my own skin. I run no more. Hate has no home in my soul. I remember you told me. You showed me, so now I stand. I stand at the beginning with my head bowing to the east, raising to the west, the circle of a day in blessings and service, in prayer guided by the omnipotent, the all-wise. I rise in an understanding that hope brought me here, that the light of that hope guided me here, that I am here. And for my gente, I offer you this. I could never have developed to whom I became without our pain, your love, your hope, supporting the hours I spent getting it wrong, never once judging but insisting to try again, pushing me to try again, turning your back as if God told you to wish me luck. I was worth saving. I begin again for you. For the new generation that's stuck trying to find themselves. For the old generation that's stuck trying to let go of their old selves. For the future generation that's hungry. I begin again at the end of my first beginning. To stand in my light, rise in my hope, begin a new day that's fueled by the DNA of love warriors. On the battlefield opposite of hate, heart wide open to embrace those that can't find another way. I stand with deeds, not words, relentlessly navigating and negotiating a material world like a hummingbird, sharp and gentle, staccato and yet focused, feeding its soul with the nourishment of this land. I stand. And at the end, that's no longer familiar, a fresh scent of aspirations inspired by desires to be a better man, awakened from the darkest of days by a single light, a light that guided me here to this new day, to this new moment in time for you and those that will come after. Thank you. And then I'm going to leave you with one last piece from the album. It's a salsa piece, so if you guys want to come up and salsa with me, that's okay, you know? So, Maestro, turn it up a little bit if you want. It's a party, you gotta turn that up, DJ. They chanted, holding hands, and one by one they exit the plane and touch for the first time the land of the free. I give stopping after safely landing on the tarmac, hoping. Driving from La Isla on large Airbuses, one-way promises of a better life in the Big Apple, but ending up in sweatshops, stitching together a life torn apart, chanting to work, Boricua hermanas y madres, chanting together as they work. Aquí llegué. Where you guys at? Come on. Aquí llegué, America. Aquí llegué, hoping for a better life, cashing in on agreements by politics with rubber checks, trying to stay hydrated while their heated bodies squeeze out the last drip of hydration, the last drop in the sweatshop where machines, no, their hands, their bare hands, blistering hands, push to hit the daily garment quota. Boricuas on the production line can't clock out, their feet back, their beaten bodies can't wait to clock out, and my mind is working a double, hoping for a better life. Right midnight when she finally gets in, I can hear her cry. Llegué. There it is. Aquí es lo que llegué. Aquí llegué. Morning rises, but we speak not. Searching for a better life, hoping for a better life. They landed in America alone. Young women leaving all they had back home. Hoping for a better life en los Estados Unidos. Yeah, right. Chanting. With their own identity, cultura, idioma, chanting. Llegué. ¿A qué es lo que llegué? Aquí llegué. ¿A qué es lo que llegué? There it is. Woo! It's really easy, look. Side, middle, side, middle, side, middle. Come on. Front, back, front, back, front, back. Ain't hard. Mr. Sims, don't hurt them. This is where I intro by bang, and since they're not here, it's just an awkward me dancing for you. Llegué, América. ¿A qué es lo que llegué? Aquí llegué. ¿A qué es lo que llegué? Aquí llegué. Y nos fuimos. Dum, 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 dum. Thank you. As you all heard Ivan earlier, this is Beyond Baroque. Thank you so much for this amazing time and hosting me. Thank you again to these amazing poets. Please, this is the time you take your wallet out and give a lot of money to Beyond Baroque. Not to Mr. Beyond and Baroque. So please support these amazing institutions who support amazing artists like these amazing artists here. Thank you all. Yes, I'm selling my book tonight. You know, I gotta buy Pampers, so please, if you can. It'd be great.
Yeah. Can we get a bedroom picture of everybody?
Yes.
All right. Come on up here, y'all. Come on. Yeah, you're able. Come on up. This is a big deal. You witnessed the book release of the debut select collection.
You guys were so
You gotta hold the book. You gotta hold the book.
Yeah,
hold the book.
Evan, this is such a treat.
Someone get the photo. Get the man. Let's get the tag.
Get some people over here.
Yeah, let's shift the.
I'm not shy. Don't be shy. Young family. There you go. There you go.
We got a phone.
When you're a national poet laureate and they flash, it's like, who is this poet? Throw us in the mix.
I need 6 books to clear it out.
Nah, we're gonna get you in. I'm gonna get you in. You hide in the back.
I thought I was tall enough so
I'm tall in my mind. That's why I got you.
I know I'm sure.
Are we all in it? Are we all in it?
Yes, I still can, but I was video here. There we go. Okay, there we go. Can we get? Can we get? Is everyone?
No,
it's all good. Well, we got it here. We got it. Okay. If not, probably go.
Yeah. You can always cry.
Okay. Boom. Smile pretty.
You don't get caught up in too much stuff. Yeah. Stick where you are. Can we get a picture? Anybody? You got a phone in your hand. You ready? Okay. Oh, Lord. Shine. Yes. Hold that book. Yes.